What's up, guys? Luke Nestler here with Lucas Property Group. I've got a video that I've wanted to do for a while, something a little bit different than what we typically do, a lot of our real estate content. And if you have followed my content for any extended period of time, you know that I'm an avid watch collector, an avid sports card and just memorabilia collector. And I wanted to do a video about some of my collection and tie it back into what we're doing in real estate, because it is I wouldn't have any of these things if it wasn't for what we have been able to build passively through real estate. So we're going to talk through some of this stuff. Couple disclaimers off the top, because this is a fraction of the collection. I don't keep majority of these things. Actually, the things you see on the table, I don't keep them in my house. But what I do keep in my house is a very high-end security system and an exorbitant amount of firearms. So just putting that out there before we go through this, because a lot of people won't put this stuff on the internet, but I'm smart about it. Lock boxes, off-site locations, things like that. So the other disclaimer, I don't use earned income to buy this. I think that's reckless to do that. Now, what do I mean by earned income? That means the money that I make from my job, my paycheck. I don't spend $1 of my paycheck on this. I don't put it on a credit card and then pay it off over an extended period of time. I think that's a reckless way to do this. And I think when people will do that, it's taking their eye off the ball of what they should be focused on to buy things that maybe they shouldn't buy yet, or they're not qualified to buy yet. So how do I buy this? And I think that's really where the story starts. I didn't acquire any of the collection that I have now until I had built a machine that generates revenue consistently, repeatedly, and predictably, whether I'm awake, whether I'm asleep, or I'll be very honest, if something happened to me and I passed away. Call that cash flow, and you call that passive income. So my real estate is what I've been all in on the last 5 years. I exited a previous business and have built a successful real estate investment firm. We buy single family homes. Occasionally we buy multifamily. We take an unwanted property, something that's in rough condition. We renovate it and make it a really nice, pristine property, and we put a tenant in there. And we buy 5 to 8 of those properties every single month. Those properties generate what's called cash flow. All right, so after all the expenses are paid for, what's remaining is cash flow. I take a very small percentage of my cash flow every single month, and I put it into a bucket. And that bucket is my bucket to do whatever I want with it. It pays for vacations. Sometimes it pays for the new deck that's being put on the back of the house. And oftentimes it's paid for things that, for my family. Occasionally it's put into something that I enjoy. And I enjoy watches and I enjoy cards. Now, a very small percentage of that. It's not a big chunk of my income because I don't use my income. And it's not even a big chunk of my cash flow. It is a very small percentage of my cash flow gets put into that bucket, and that bucket grows over time, and then I give myself the permission to treat myself to things that I like. So that's where this came from. I don't know that I'm going to go through every single one of these super in depth. Maybe I will, but my first love of collecting was watches. Well before I was able to buy the watches that you see on the table or the one that's on my wrist, I've always been enamored by hobbies that people have that don't necessarily have to be expensive, but people are like obsessive over. Sports cards, watches, like what are people enamored by? So I really dove into it. And, you learn that a watch means something different to every person. For me, I'm not so much I don't geek out about the movement or, the little nuances about what went into making this watch. A lot of people do, and I think that's awesome. For me, they mark moments in time and events that happened in my life. And each one of those stands for that. But each one of these are high-end watches that I don't look at them as investments, and I don't look at the sports cards as investments, but very honestly, like they absolutely could be considered an alternative investment class. Every one of these are worth significantly more now than what I paid for them. And I think that's a unique thing about it. So my first watch that got me into it is not on this table. Maybe I should have brought it. But it's a Shinola, which used to be a shoe shine company. Got bought and brought back to life many, many years later as a watch company. That was my first watch, and it was before it was a few $100 watch, and that was a lot of money for me. That got me into the love of it, having something nice on my wrist. And then I started watching videos and researching and learning about these other types of watches. And on somebody's wrist that I was like, man, one day I want to be able to afford something like that is this Hublot Big Bang Unico. And I just always thought that it was a really cool, was a super cool watch. As I got into the watch collecting world, I realized that the Hublot brand is oftentimes kind of made fun of for whatever reason by watch purists and enthusiasts. I don't consider myself a watch purist. I think it's a sick watch. And I actually just purchased this in the last few months, but this was the watch that got me enamored by watches, even though it was one that I recently purchased. And it was a cool moment when it came. I've wanted this watch for like 15, 20 years. So this watch was something that I was really excited to get. The very first watch that I bought that was a high-end watch was this Rolex, the Wimbledon dial. It's called a Date Just, and this is my favorite bracelet that Rolex makes. It's called a Jubilee bracelet, and I just think it's a really, really cool watch. That was when my real estate business finally took off to the level to where I was able to exit a former career, go full-time, all in on real estate. And I purchased this from Orr's Jewelers in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They're an authorized dealer of Rolex. I went through the Rolex process, which is kind of a rigorous process. You have to wait. You have to pretty much get approved, play their game. But I wanted that experience on the first watch. So I love this watch. I wear this thing all the time. And it's a collector's piece. The day that I walked out of the store with this watch, I could have sold it for $3,000 to $4,000 more than what I paid for it that day. So these watches are absolutely could be looked at as investment pieces in an alternative asset class. I just don't ever plan on selling any of them. My kids will get them. And that's why I don't look at them that way. Jumping over to sports cards, we'll kind of go back and forth. I was not somebody that grew up collecting sports cards. I got into it about 1.5 years ago, and I got into it because I was, again, enamored why people are so obsessed over that culture. And when I started to dive into it and learn about it, I realized the people that really know what they're doing, they collect things that are scarce, that are hard to find. You're not going to be able to just go to Target and get one that looked just like it. So I'm a big hockey fan. We're big time supporters and donors for West Virginia baseball. So any WVU alum, and then conveniently, my family is also from St. Louis. So I'm a lifelong Cardinals fan. So when I decided to go into that realm, made a bunch of mistakes, bought a bunch of stuff that weren't really worth anything. But when I really started to learn, I started to buy some pretty big cards and some cool cards. And again, all through passive income through real estate. And I started buying JJ Weatherholt, which is probably going to get Rookie of the Year this year, 2026. I started buying some of his cards. So some of the stuff that are on the table are some of my more high-end JJ cards that most of the time I keep locked away. This is his rookie patch auto. That's a big card. So it's a patch from a player worn jersey. It's not game used. He hasn't had anything like that come out yet, but it's autographed. Super cool piece. This one is, in the card world, they call it a superfractor, which means it's one of one. So this one is, there's 5 of these in the world that exist. This is copy 4 of 5. So there's only 5 of these that exist. So again, scarcity. All right. This one is what's called a superfractor, which just means one of one in the card nerd world. It's the only one that exists. And same thing with this one back here. This is another one of his superfractors. I've got it in a super thick case, but only one of these that exists. This one is graded, this one's not, so these are considered raw, meaning they weren't sent to a grading company. This one was, and it graded It graded a 9, which the highest you can get is a 10. But in this case, it doesn't really matter because there's no other ones that exist. This was another one. Pretty much all the cards that I collect are based out of 50, and all the out of 50 cards are gold. So this is one of his gold rookie cards, and that one is a Gem Mint 10. I don't know the population count on that one. There's probably 300 of these in the world, so not as rare, but a very high-end, expensive card. I'll do one more card and then we'll bounce back. So one that is not expensive, but sentimental-wise has a lot of value is this one. So this is Coach Randy Mazey. He is the former head skipper of West Virginia University baseball team. This guy brought this team back from when it was on the verge of literally getting eliminated from a sport at the university. They hired him. He brought us back to the point to where we are now competing for regional championships, super regional championships, making it to, this year, the coach Sabins that came in to replace him after he retired got us to the College Baseball World Series. It is all based off of this gentleman bringing it back. So I've gotten to know Randy as one of the donors for WB Baseball. I've gotten to know him super well, and I found this card on eBay. I bought it and actually had him sign it for me. So this one is something that I cherish, even though I think that card cost me $2.50. And his wife said that I paid too much. That's a really, really cool card. Back to the watches. So I'm gonna do the one on my wrist because Ben, my guy that's filming this video, he helped me make the decision on buying this one. So my Grail watch, which Grail in the watch and sports card collecting world, that just means like your holy grail, like the one that you want probably more than any other watch, has always been a presidential Rolex, also known as a day date. And they call it a day date because there is, and Ben will get some close-up shots, there's the day on the top and the date on the side. Presidential Rolex is 18 karat gold. It's, all the presidents have had one of these and they wear it on their wrist. It is one of the coolest Rolexes that you can buy. In the watch world, it's always a unique thing to get your birth year watch for the one that you want the most. Well, I was born in 1989, and literally a couple weeks ago, Brandon Katzeff, who owns Joyce's Jewelry, had a big event at his store. I went up and I was going for another Rolex, but he actually had this in the store, and it's a 1989 newly maintenanced presidential Rolex. So needless to say, I had to walk away with this one. So this is a cool watch. I don't wear it a ton because it is 18 karat gold and it is 37 years old, but it is something that I'm very proud of. Before we talk about the last couple watches and last couple cards, I wanted to show this new merchandise that we got for the company, something that we're proud of because of what it says and what it stands for. So this is the newest Lucas Property Group merchandise. These are not for sale. I won't sell these. If anything, I'll give them away to people for specific reasons. But the Get Rich, Give Back motto is something that I believe heavily in, and we're starting to really talk more about it within the company to help our staff members understand and get behind that ethos, because as far as what I have built this company on, that is very much the mission behind it. So the Get Rich, Give Back mentality is going against the grain on it's not acceptable to talk about money. It's not acceptable to talk about getting rich. Rich people are bad. I completely disagree with that. I give back to the community in multiple ways. I help people in need that others don't even know about. And I want other people to strive to be in a position financially to do that. Bottom line is if you are wealthy or if you're rich, you're able to give back more than if you are struggling and financially poor. It starts with giving back to yourself first, giving back to your family, but then also striving to be the best that you can be professionally so that you can give back at a greater level than what you could before to others in the community that are in need. So the Get Rich, Give Back is, I guess you could call it a campaign that we are launching and pushing to try to find more like-minded people that want to get filthy rich, but not in a selfish way. They want to be able to help others and give back from their success. So we do have these get rich, give back hats that we're going to be, they're super high end hats. I mean, this is like a velvet bill. Like this is the nicest hat you'll probably ever put on your head. And I'm super proud of them. So we do have these. If you're interested in those, reach out to me. Tell me why that resonates with you and we'll hook you up with one. Last couple things we have that I want to talk about. We've got two watches that look very similar, but they are very, very different. This one I got after I exited and left a former career and former business that I built, marking a milestone of setting myself free, working very, very hard to get my real estate business to the point to where it exceeded my previous lifestyle, and this marks that milestone. This is a Rolex Submariner, very popular, kind of stereotypical Rolex, but they make different variations, different colors, and the bezel will be a different color, the dial will be different colors. This one is called, in the watch collecting world, a Starbucks, and I'm a big coffee guy, and it's company colors, so had to get one of those. And then my dream watch has always been one of my dream watches has always been what's called the Hulk, and it's a discontinued watch. It looks very similar to the one I just showed you, but it is a green bezel, green dial. And again, Brandon from Joyce's Jewelry had one of these, left after his big event. So I literally got this one on Saturday, and then I went back on Monday or Tuesday and got this one because it was still available. This is very much an investment piece. This is one that they will never make another one of these. They discontinued these watches, so to have this one is super cool. Last thing we'll talk about is, you see the hockey cards, but I haven't talked about any of them yet. I'm an avid hockey fan, so I've got some cool hockey stuff. We've got an autographed Sidney Crosby rookie year card. We've got the greatest of all time, Wayne Gretzky. So this is graded a 6. This was an expensive card, but just to give you context, there is one that is sold in the last 7 to 10 years that was graded a 10. This very card graded a 10 is worth $2 million. So if you know nothing about the card world, there's some serious money being traded in that world. Last thing I'll show you, not a card, but super cool. This was the last thing I'll show you. It's not a card, but it's super cool. This is Sidney Crosby's debut game in Pittsburgh. This is a ticket, autographed ticket by Sidney Crosby to that game. So something that I'm super proud to have. Pretty cool. I love real estate. I'm passionate about what I do. I love being able to, have a staff that I care about. I love being able to take homes that other people have forgotten about and bringing it back to life. I love being able to reinvest into, things that I'm passionate about and within the community and care about and helping others. And I'm able to do all of that through real estate. But then I'm also able to treat myself to things that I enjoy through real estate, which these are some of those things. Real estate is a powerful vehicle. It's an incredible opportunity for those that want to one day be able to set themselves free from a career maybe that they're not happy with, or just be able to change their family tree. And this is one small perk of what real estate can do for you. And I certainly enjoy these. And I hope you thought this video was interesting. I love this stuff and love talking about it. And real estate has afforded me the ability to be able to do all this. I wanted to share it with you guys. Again, my name is Luke Nestler, own Lucas Property Group, and we operate in Morgantown, West Virginia, North Central West Virginia. We are one of the largest home buyers in West Virginia. If you have a house that you need to sell, you inherited, if it's a problem, we're the people that buy those. If you have interest in getting into real estate or questions, look me up on Instagram, send me a DM after following this video, and I'm always here to help. I want to help more people get rich and give back, and we'll see you guys in the next video.